When it comes to 8-bit JRPGs, your mind will always go straight to Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. However, I'm here to tell you that 8-bit Adventures 2 will now take that top spot when you think of 8-bit JRPGs. But before we get cracking on, hello, John aka Chicken Fillets here. Now if you like JRPGs, JRPG reviews and a wee Scottish guy talking about it, well, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd like to thank Joshua from Critical Games for providing a review copy of 8-bit Adventures 2 for the Nintendo Switch, and everything in this review is my own thoughts. So without further ado, let's have a look at 8-bit Adventures 2 on Nintendo Switch. So our story in 8-bit Adventures 2 kicks off when we play as an unnamed character in a desert region. During this introduction section, our adventurer comes across our villain, known as the Glitch. From there, we're introduced to our new lead protagonist, known as Charlie, who sets off on a journey with characters from the original 8-bit Adventures title to save our adventure from the introduction and also save the world from the Glitch. Now for clarity, this review is spoiler free, but to give you a summary of what I thought of the story of 8-bit Adventures 2, well, I thought this was a cracking story. From finding out the tragic origin of our villain the Glitch, from seeing our heroes trying to save the world from the Glitch, it just has everything which grabbed me. And it's not just your average fantasy story, because there is a lot of meta used within this story, and it's fantastic for this. This is a really well written story with characters that you will fall in love with straight away. The likes of the ever optimistic Charlie, or the likes of C28, or should I say Robot, who tries to learn more about the world, and you see this progress happening in front of your eyes. And also the original cast from 8-bit Adventures 1. Now, keeping 8-bit Adventures 1 in mind, one question that I did have in mind is, well, do you need to play this game before getting into 8-bit Adventures 2? And I'm happy to tell you that no, you can just jump straight into the sequel without prior knowledge, because it will be discussed within this game's story. However, what 8-bit Adventures 2 managed to do is it made me pick up 8-bit Adventures 1 on Steam. It has to be said though that the standout character in all of this is the Glitch. Once you play this game, you'll understand why I have said this. Now let's talk about the actual gameplay itself. Now, with this being a JRPG, you're expecting some form of combat. Well, I'm happy to tell you that this is a turn-based JRPG. Now, the best way to describe this is it takes inspiration from the likes of Final Fantasy X. So this means when you're in battle, on the right hand side of the screen, you will see whose turn is next. You're able to switch out party members because each character has a unique set of attacks, thus giving a bit of strategy behind this as well. Now, whether you're dungeon crawling or whether you're on the world map, there is no random encounters. However, the question you might say to yourself is, well, I want to grind, I want to get my levels up, how am I going to manage to do this? Well, this has been thought out within 8-bit Adventures 2. So let's say you're within a dungeon. Once you have got up to a certain point and you find the save point, and I'll get onto this save point later on within this video, let's say you have wiped out every enemy within this dungeon, there is an option available for you to revive all the enemies in said dungeon, thus giving you a chance to build up your character's stats. Now, I will say that during my playthrough of 8-bit Adventures 2, I did come across some difficulty spikes within the boss battles, but that didn't really throw me off because you got this option to revive enemies beforehand and you could go back and beef yourself up essentially. There's also unique battles, there's airship battles in this, which is a great amount of fun. A nice quality of life feature within this game is that you're able to save anywhere. Now you might be thinking, well wait a minute, earlier on you mentioned that there were save points, and yes I did. Save points are wee cheeky chappies, which usually appear at important points in the game when you know a boss battle is going to appear. A nice throwback to classic JRPGs. Even when you go into a save point, it usually has a cheeky little message saying something related to that area of the game that you're in, and also gives you the save option, revive enemies, and also gives you hints and tips about the next boss. Now let's talk about the presentation of 8-Bit Adventures 2. Now like it says on the tin, yes, it's an 8-bit JRPG. Honestly, this reminded me of a Game Boy JRPG, a Game Boy Color game with the use of its color palettes. Within battle as well, the gorgeous sprite work which is used for the enemies are fantastic, and even the cutscenes are done to perfection. Even the likes of your character animations with their little runs, their facial expressions, etc., which you would expect from any sort of JRPG, but it's just done so well. Another nice little touch with this is that when you play this on the Nintendo Switch, it gives off a 4:3 aspect ratio, so it kind of gives you the impression that you're playing this on a old school CRT. And if you've been used to playing the likes of NES games and SNES games on the Nintendo Switch, you'll get used to this ratio. It took me a little while to get used to it first because I don't often play games on that aspect ratio. Now when it comes to the performance of 8-Bit Adventures 2 on the Nintendo Switch, I'm happy to tell you that I had no issues with the performance whatsoever, no dips in FPS and no bugs or crashes, so I'm happy just to tell you it works perfectly fine. Now when it comes to the soundtrack of 8-Bit Adventures 2, you'll be storming through this JRPG with some fantastic songs composed by Sebastian Cruz. I mean, listen to this sample of the battle theme. Overall, with a plethora of indie JRPGs which get lost in the mix on Nintendo Switch, I would highly recommend that you seek out 8-Bit Adventures 2. It's an indie JRPG which is full of charm and has all the modern sensibilities that you would expect from any modern JRPG. So with this in mind, I give it a chicken fillets rating of play it. So there we have it, 8-Bit Adventures 2 for the Nintendo Switch. Will you be picking up this indie JRPG? Let me know in the comments down below. Now if you like what you're hearing and seeing on this channel, well please help me grow it by liking, sharing and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, you know what to do, hit that notification bell. This has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, tatty bye.